Good evening, everyone. This is Big Said, Industry Cosign, coming back once again after a brief layoff. And I have my man DJBabe in the house, the owner of, the owner of Motor City Popcorn. Let me give you a brief bio of my featured guest for today before we start. DJBabe. Well, I'll let him tell his real name when he gets on, but DJ Babe from Pittsburgh, originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is a veteran DJ, business owner, and author, among many other things to claim. He received his first set of turntables in 1984 and has been playing on the one and twos ever since. His career includes stints as an on-air radio mixer with WJLB in Detroit, Super Radio syndication, as well as both XM and Sirius Radio before the two merged together. He is known for his career as a mixtape DJ, releasing many titles that were sold all over the world with recognition from MTV, The Source Magazine, and many others. He was also the owner of a well-known mixtape website, mixtapedjs.net, which distributed mixtapes from the top DJs and artists of that time. In 2012, he created a gourmet popcorn business, Motor City Popcorn, which today operates from its own retail storefront in Detroit and distributes its products to stores across the country, including casinos in Las Vegas and Detroit, airports, museums, grocery stores, and can be found inside of several Ford Motor auto plants. His popcorn brand has worked with companies such as the NFL, Hennessy Moët, Comcast, Domino's Pizza, and others. In 2022, DJ Babe released his first book titled I Finally Wrote This Book, which is a collection of stories from his past as a DJ, traveling the United States and eventually transitioning to starting a popcorn brand. Today, he still DJs in various locations in Detroit and plans to grow both the popcorn and DJ brand in years to come. So once again, I introduce DJ Babe, currently in Detroit,
Yes.
CEO, owner of Motor City Popcorn. Welcome.
What's up? As we say in Detroit, what up, though?
Chilling, man. Just trying to get back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you and to get this podcast regrow, go, whatever. I don't know. Up, because this is the third time I'm doing I'm entering the podcast game, and I think I'm here to stay this time.
Definitely.
And I'm glad that you've given me the opportunity to speak to you as one of my first guests as I get it going. So we're going to start off by I think the way I want to introduce is I want to let the audience know that the way I want to do these is more like a discussion and conversation as opposed to an interview. So we'll just talk, whatever comes up, whatever happens, we'll go with the flow. But I definitely want to focus on you and your business, your time in the industry. And I think, I guess to pick up what led you to start DJing to get your mark going in order leading into your entrepreneurial business when it comes to the Motor City Popcorn.
Okay. As far as starting a DJ, so like for me, we moved to Detroit in '78, I believe. But my mom would always send me and my brother back to Pittsburgh like every chance she get. So I guess she was getting rid of us. So like sometimes literally, man, she would drive us just there for the weekend. But at that time in the early '80s, Pittsburgh was it just had a stronger hip hop presence than Detroit did. So like I go to Pittsburgh, and the classic radio station WAMO, WAMO, and they were just playing all this hip hop. And trust me, you come to Detroit, you wasn't hearing it on radio in Detroit. So I mean, I was just soaking up the hip hop. When I tell you, I tried everything. My first intro in the hip hop was breakdancing. And I tried graffiti, which was really just vandalism, as far as my stuff, I tried rapping, that sure wasn't it. But breakdancing, I actually became pretty good. And actually, there was a crew here in Detroit called the Breaketeers, which was like a premier breakdance crew. I was actually a member of it. We went on tour in the summer of '84. A couple of Midwest cities and things like that. And I have my claim to fame as the first break dancers on TV news in Detroit. Summer of '84 as well. We were on the news. They actually came to my house and they filmed us in my driveway. And I still got it. It looks horrible.
I'm sure it looked good at that time.
Yeah, probably, man. When you look at what the New York City Breakers was doing and Rocksteady, no, not us.
Well, I grew up during that time, and I'm good friends with Crazy Legs. So
Yeah. Well, we was not that good.
maybe we shouldn't see it. So yeah.
So I mean, I was just everything hip hop. I mean, everything, man. I wanted to, I was into the Pumas, all kind of stuff. And so I mean, DJing was just another evolution. I always had records. I actually bought, like, literally where I spent. Well, my mama gave me some money, but the first record that I bought was a 45 of B-52's Rock Lobster. Still have it as well. So by '83, '84, I literally had an actual record collection. So it was just kind of natural, again, to get into the DJing. And once I got, 2 turntables and a mixer in '84, I was like the neighborhood DJ. It's myself and a guy named Mark. Like, we was doing like literally every house party, like in a square mile radius, and I DJ'd in my school, everything, what I'm saying, during that time. So I just took over the DJing and just stayed with it.
That's good. Okay. Now, hip hop during that time. Now, of course, me being in New York City, it was thick. It was definitely like the breakdancing, the graffiti, the hip hop. I mean, the MC and things of that nature. How was it in Detroit at that time when you first entered as a breakdancer before you actually got into the DJing aspect of hip hop?
I mean, it was growing. I mean, of course, New York was just like the Mecca, and I mean, we had our pockets. We had our, a lot of, back then, a lot of the roller rinks would be like where the breakers would meet up, and kind of like the scene from Beat Street. Everyone's going around the roller rink. We in the middle of it. Staring down each other. Saying, and all that. And in school, definitely in school, all the break dancers, the everybody on the lunch table, rapping. I mean, it was there. And like for me, so I was the second person in my neighborhood to get a VCR. So, I mean, my man Marty was first. So I videotaped everything. And I still have these VHS tapes. Like when Graffiti Rock came on. So when I have it on VHS, it's the actual time that it aired. When, LL Cool J on SNL, Run DMC on like every TV show. I've got tons and tons and tons of early hip hop film. I used to record Soul Beat, all of, stuff, some crazy stuff, Turbo and Shabba-Doo. I got all kind of clips of them. So I mean, we were definitely into hip hop. We were definitely Detroit had an early scene as far as guys putting records out around '86. So that's when you started, putting actually, well, we had some before. We actually had, but by '86, you started to get good records for that time. You started to have records on the radio. You started, guys doing shows. And again, I just collect a lot because I have flyers of me as a DJ in '86. Definitely by '87, '88, I was doing a lot of hip hop shows as a DJ. So we had a good scene,
You just went out for a second, but well, that's good. So explain like how you ventured into actually DJing, back in Detroit in, I guess, 86 or after 86, after you knew you weren't going to be crazy legs from breakdancing.
Well, I mean, by that, by the mid to late '80s, the breakdancing for me was over.
Yeah.
Now I will say again, I ain't just trying to pat myself, but I was known, what I'm saying, because I was in the Breaketeers, and you had to be good to be in the Breaketeers.
Yeah.
So I was known for breakdancing. I definitely had a buzz, and then when I got into DJing, I mean, truthfully, I was able to get a buzz doing that. But for me, give credit to my mom. She would drop me off, take me to, like every concert. Some of the stuff, I joke about. I went to my first concert, Fresh Fest in '83.
Fresh Fest.
And I mean, because anything I asked my mom to do, she was doing it. And she, I think about it, she dropped us off at an arena downtown and left us and shit.
Probably for good, but you ended up getting back there. So
I mean, you think about it now. Even like when we went on tour in '84, and I talked to her about this one day. She didn't even know these people, and you just let me just hop in a van with them because we left in a van. Like you ain't check them out. They're like, "Yo, we want your son to go." She was like, "All right," Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I could be anywhere right now. So I was just able to be like, I mean, anything, man. Like I was at skating rinks, I was at clubs, I was at wherever, I was at other schools. Anything that was hip hop, I just had to be there. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to know, like, if it was somebody that had a buzz in the city, like I knew them. You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? So I was just, even in the I'm gonna say, late '80s, I was like connected, for what was going on at that time. Christmas of '89, we did a concert, Christmas Day, '89. I mean, sold out venue. I got that on VHS tape too. I got the whole concert on VHS. Seriously, man, it was called the Music Hall. We sold out, and I was the first one on stage. It came out the DJ intro the show and stuff, So as we graduated to the '90s, that's when I started trying to get into production. '91, I did my first beat. Of course, sound like trash. Sound like trash today, but yeah. Then I wanted to, get me an artist, produce all that stuff. So it was myself and like 3 other guys, and 2 of them was DJs as well. But we all started doing beats and stuff, and then we all getting our artists and stuff, and then we really doing showcases. So I mean, it was just from there.
let me interrupt you. During that time, what artists in your area was popular in order for you to, I guess, want to be involved within the hip hop realm?
Like who was popular in my area?
Yeah.
So for us, definitely Chaos and Maestro, and they were real good friends with Chuck D. At the time, I didn't know Chuck D. grandparents actually lived in Detroit. So we didn't know why Chuck was always in Detroit. But he ended up getting cool with Chaos and Maestro. So he'd be at their studio and all kinds of things of that. Huge Public Enemy fans as well too. But then you had Prince Vince, you had Awesome Dre, who Eminem shouted out at his induction. You had the same other guy, Merciless Amir. AWOL, man. AWOL was man, they had a huge record here in Detroit. Ended up getting signed to Atlantic Records as well too. Smiley, Detroit Box, Detroit's Most Wanted. Man, they had a huge record here as well too. I mean, like, to this day, the same way, if you in the club, if I'm DJing in the club and I throw on, Slick Rick Children's Story, I throw on a Run DMC, and you get a response. If I throw on Detroit's Most Wanted, I'm getting the same kind of response. Like, I play that in Detroit now, hands is going up. man, like, you know what I'm saying? They had the city on lock.
And that's the reason why I wanted to put a little bit of focus on the Detroit area, because of course, me being in the New York area, I don't know anything about Detroit hip hop. But I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to at least have you acknowledge the artists around that time, so that way, people watching will definitely understand from your area who you're talking about, and I guess the importance of why they were important to you as far as your pursuit in the hip hop game. So that's
Well, the
why.
thing was just, I mean, we had tons of rappers, but putting it on wax made you premiere
Yeah,
because that puts you in that small circle. If you was actually, on the record, then if you had a record that was on the radio, I mean, you was a god.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you were a straight up god because
Especially back then.
yeah, it was because it just wasn't happening.
Yeah,
So when Video Jukebox came out, and again, that's when now people dropping videos left and right. Detroit's Most Wanted, AWOL, Smiley, all those guys, and they got videos and stuff. I mean, it was just these guys were, I mean, straight up celebrities, and I think that's why even today, when you mention their name, I mean they get the same respect as a New York, old school MC.
yeah.
They pretty much get the same kind of respect, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. I definitely wanted to place that, because I know that particularly back in the 80s, 90s, when hip hop was definitely regional, as opposed to nowadays where you have access to anyone, everything, and there was no such thing as social media, there was
Hmm.
no streaming service and things of that nature. So I know that me living in New York, if I go to Detroit, more than likely I'm not going to know who is the popular artist of that area, because it was regional.
Right.
So I guess let us know exactly like what drove you to, I guess what drove you into actually the aspects of DJing, as well as I guess MCing, since you left the breakdancing realm at that time.
Well, like I said, I tried to rap. I wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't good. I never recorded anything, but I tried to do shows and stuff as an MC. Just didn't work. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I had a little buzz as a breakdancer, and when I got into really, really put my foot into the DJing, because like I said, by 85 or so, 86, myself, my man Mark, we're doing everybody's party in my neighborhood. So we own it. We own that square mile. As far as house parties and like I say, my school, all that stuff. I was the guy for DJing. Mainly because one, like I said, I had a record collection, and truthfully, I took my mother's records. You know, I took my grandmother's records.
That's why she dropped you off at the van.
I mean, literally, like her records ended up just going to the basement. Even my father, Pittsburgh. Even him, I went to Pittsburgh one summer, and literally, I honestly stole his records because I put them in my suitcase. I came back with a stack of records and stuff, and so I mean, I had music.
Yeah.
And I still have I got everything, man, from 30, 40 years ago. I still have all my records as well too. But so I mean, I was one of the guys looked to for DJing. And what I'm saying, honestly, thankfully, I mean, not again just try to say it, but I mean, for who was out there, I mean, I had a buzz. I was getting out there. Truthfully, another story is we had two well-known drug dealers. Tone and Dre. And Tone and Dre used to come over my house, and I would make mixtapes for them. For what it was. I'm just DJing live. We just 60-minute tape, just start playing some records. And they would sit in my basement and pick out the records while I'm doing it live. Put this on it, man. Put this on it. This. With Tone and Dre riding around playing my music, my mixes rather, that created a buzz.
Yeah.
I wish I knew back then to capitalize off,
Right.
you know. But I mean, I didn't know. And of course, Tony Dre, you know, give me $25 something. I'm like, oh man, what the hell, you know, like damn. But that era definitely that created a buzz for me to have those two guys playing, you know, my mixes in their cars and stuff. You know, I never really told that story, but I'm out to, you know, Dre out of jail. Hell yeah. I'm about to tell him, call him up one day, like, thanks, dog.
They helped with the start of DJBabe.
Yeah, it was, you know, because they was the street dudes, you know, and they ride through the hood playing these mixes, and you know, it's me.
How did fast forward to, like, because at that time there was really no internet in the way that we know of today, and you had mixtapes.net, right?
.net, mixtapedjs.net.
Mixtapesdjs.net.
Mm-hmm.
What led you to actually start that? Because, you know, as an entrepreneur, you know, that wasn't it wasn't worldwide, so to speak, as it is today when it comes to.
So I did my first actual, like, going into the idea of a mixtape in '96. I actually booked studio time to make a mixtape. My first few mixtapes on cassette, I actually was booking studio time, going in there and literally just mix. And he would just hit record. Stupid now, just paying that money, you know, you know. But I was actually one of the first DJs in Detroit to come out with a CD. I came out with my first CD January of '98. You know, so again, when, you know, the whole mixtape thing, you know, I definitely was one of the top people in the late '90s. So as we transitioned to the 2000s, for me, so the way I was getting exposed to people outside of my market, in '99, I started working. No. In '98, I started working with Arista Records, you know, under my girl Lisa Coleman. '99 is when I started working at JOB. So by being at Arista in '98 is when I found out. Well, I kind of knew about Jack the Rapper, but that's when I kind of really knew about all these music conferences, and that's when I started going out. So you know, being with JL.
Let's explain to people what Jack the Rapper and music conferences were back then, because for some people who may be watching, we don't have the music conferences like we did when we were coming up. Like, that was a big aspect of the music industry at the time. And
yes.
Music conferences were basically a gathering of DJs, MCs, music executives who were involved in hip hop that, like I guess, that came together to, I guess, exchange, networking, premiering new music, introducing new artists and things of that nature. So that way people will actually, we had How Can I Be Down, Jack the Rapper, New Music Conference in New York, like
Urban Network,
Impact. Yeah, so
I met your ass.
And back then, like, birth what we know today, like whether it's what the record pools and things of that nature. But Jack the Rapper was one of those conferences where, like, industry heads got together to basically network and help me. To basically,
I mean, it was a place that if you wanted to be in the music game as an artist, as a executive, as a DJ, as a whoever, if you wanted just to be the mailroom guy, the music conference was the place to be, hands down.
You had to
be looking to elevate, you were looking to do anything to create a buzz, hands down. You had to be at the conference. And
this is before
I got turned on to that. That's when I started meeting you know, people from outside of my market.
Yeah.
And so again, in Detroit, I'm selling mixtapes. I'm selling them. You know, to go back to the '90s, I started. There was a guy here, well-known guy, Sean P. Sean P was the first person in Detroit to do street team for record labels. And when I met Sean P, you know, as a DJ, he's telling me come over his house and get records. And I go over his house and I see all these damn records, man. What the hell going on? This, you know. And again, I'm a person, I'm just soak up opportunity.
Yeah.
And so Sean, I'm like, I want to do what you do. And so Sean had me out doing street team for him. So I was going out, putting the poster boards up, this and that. And then I started going out to the record stores, you know, putting posters up and yada, yada. So by the time I got into mixtapes, I had a relationship with all the independent record stores. Everybody knew me. So I was able to walk in with my mixtapes. And since I was already doing street promo, I know about put your poster up here. I know about a light box. I know about point of sales and this. Well, I need mine there. I need a picture of me there. So I treated my mixtape the same way I was treating a record label. And that's how I was able to create a buzz here in the city. But once I met people outside my market, I'm like, they making real money. I'm looking at what I'm making. I'm meeting other guys doing mixtapes. And, you know, they driving new cars and, you know, all this. Like, whoa, wait a minute. So
dropping you off to a van.
I'm like, hey. So truthfully, you know, back then it was I forget the name of that website, but my man Tape Master was running the website. And I got on the website, and you know, back then the internet had message boards.
Yeah. And
you get on the message board, and that's, man, I'm connecting with everybody. I was trying to get on, I believe it was mixunit.com. Found out my man Clinton Sparks was one of the owners.
Clinton Sparks.
And so I hit Clinton up because by this time I know him, and he would not put my mixtapes on there. And I'm like, what the hell? You know, so there was another guy. I met a guy named Mike. I forget the name of his website too, but he had a site. And Mike, he put mine on his site, but he said, get your own. That way you always got, you know, a website to sell your product. And I'm like, bet. And that's exactly what I did. You know, truthfully, I borrowed $2,500 from my grandmother. I hired somebody to design a website. Again, by me being on, you know, these message boards, by me traveling and going to conferences, I know other guys. So initially, yeah, it was for me to sell my stuff, but I had access to like all the other, you know, mixtape guys. So the site ended up doing way more than what I thought it could be. I mean, it did great. I ain't gonna lie. I actually was buying rental. I was buying crib. I was buying homes. You know, rental properties. I was now driving new vehicles. I was literally at the dealership. Like, let me get that over there. You know, and I mean, straight up off of mixtapes. You know, and so what I did was, again, having a relationship with retail here. There's a guy by the name of Ron who, you know, for me, had a genius idea. Ron owned a record store, Justin's Music. But what he did was he created a whole other division where he went around to liquor stores, gas stations, and all of that. And he set displays up to sell CDs and DVDs. Ron, at one point, was grossing over $1 million a year off of that side of the business. So I worked for Ron to soak up knowledge. Because I, you know, again, I'm selling mixtapes. I want to know how to do this. So I actually applied to work for Ron. At the time, I'm popping as a DJ. I'm in the clubs. I'm on radio. I was literally on radio at JLB, selling mixtape, everything, and I went and got a job because I wanted to know, you know, how to do this. So I was a guy working for Ron, going around to the liquor stores, gas stations, selling CDs. So you think I'm gonna do eventually? I need mine in there. You know, so I went to Ron and I asked him, you know, I want to do the mixtape thing, and Ron was like, you know, nah, because he's obviously selling his stuff. Yeah. So I just told Ron, basically, I'm gonna be a competitor, just letting you know. And you know, he was grossing over $1 million, so he's like, go ahead. And I can say that because as a guy who worked for him, we used to count the money. And I mean, literally off of CDs, DVDs, we'd be sitting in that back room counting $25,000, $30,000, off of one day of sales. Because Ron had the city. Ron had probably 300 outlets, at his peak. And so I did the same thing. The same place that he was getting his displays made, I went to the same company. I need displays too. And I went out, hit the streets, and I was able to get liquor stores, gas stations, but we sold mixtapes only. Yeah. So I had my website selling the mixtapes, and then I had distribution here throughout the city, selling mixtapes as well too. So in due time, the other DJs started to find out who's moving mass units. So now I'm getting the phone calls from all you New York guys, Splash, who was selling DJ Envy and Duke the God, and all of them calling me up, I need some mixtapes in Detroit. Okay, well, boom, let's do it. So I had that. Again, man, I had everybody's stuff. My man Nels from G Unit was hooking me up with all the early 50 Cents. I had that. I don't really know if anybody had 50 stuff like I had in the beginning. I had all that stuff, man. And like the rest, everything else in my basement, I still got them. I still got a whole lot of mixtapes in my basement from other DJs. And, yeah, I went crazy with the mixtapes. I mean, literally, man, I started buying property. I became a landlord. Like I say, man, I'm buying homes throughout Detroit now.
The definition of an entrepreneur.
Man, and it was that. Then I slightly got into t-shirts. I started selling them for a minute too, But I think I'm gonna get back into that as well. So I was just hustling,
So let me ask you a question, because like I said, being at the definition of an entrepreneur, what led you to get that mindset to basically work for yourself?
You know what, man? I'm gonna say two things. One, an influence, which I wrote about in Pittsburgh. My great uncle, my Uncle Fred, he owned a bar, and my last name is Golightly, yeah. And so that's the name of the bar. It was called Golightly's. When I used to go to Pittsburgh as a kid, I still remember the signage outside the bar, Golightly's. I remember when you see that nighttime lit up, and it did something. 40 years later, I can talk about it. And just, man, like, I was just so, at the time as a kid, didn't really, stick to you like that. But it's a memory I never, forgot. Seeing your name in lights, walking in that bar, and Fred, my Uncle Fred, used to give, first of all, he was young in the bar, but he would give us $1. Now I might want to talk about that. $1. But he always gave us $1. And to me, it was something to brag about. And then second of all is my mother. Now, my mother worked for GM. That's why we came to Detroit. Came here and got a job at GM. But my mama was always about her money. Yeah. It was a time period where she just always had 2 new cars. She had 2 cars for years and years and years. I don't know why. But
balling. That's
my mom traveled the world. Even to this day, she only drives Cadillacs. Like, she's always just been about her money. And I think that that was just something else. Now she hasn't worked every day, but she always just had her own. She was always, like I say, bossed up. And so of course, you wanted to follow that. But I knew I wasn't gonna work. I'm not working 30 years in one spot. Yeah. I think for me, being wrapped up so much in hip hop thing, I wanted to do, what everybody in New York was doing, everybody in LA was doing. I wanted to be, honestly, time I wanted to be an actor. So You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I just want to be famous or something, man. Like I want to be known. Shoot. So I wasn't getting that doing the job. So, I was doing what I could do to just be out here.
So let me ask you a question. Since you're the owner of Motor City Popcorn, why popcorn? How do you go from breakdancing, a failed MC, successful DJ, and then all of a sudden you're doing popcorn?
So in the period of the 90s, I did work at several restaurants. So I worked for an Italian restaurant, Salvatore Scalapini. And again, this is me soaking up, experiences. Two men owned this restaurant, which eventually they had several locations. I started off doing dishes and graduated from dishes to prep cook, to salad station, all the way to line cook. I did every position in the back, in the back of the house. And they even entrusted me to the point of where I was the person ordering inventory. Now I used to tear them up. I was stealing like a mug, boy. I ain't gonna lie. You order inventory. I need 1 box of shrimp for me, 5 for the, So I had this passion about a restaurant. And in 2004, I tried to open a restaurant. That's when I got a little bit of money, and glad it didn't work. So it didn't happen because the building I wanted to get, the owner, he asked for a business plan, and I was offended because I'm like, I got the money, dog. I got the money, And he's like, I need a business plan. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got money. And he wouldn't give me the building. And which is so much thankful now. Woo. And because I didn't know what I knew back then,
Wake up call.
Yeah. So I always wanted a restaurant. But DJing, as I got deeper and deeper and deeper in DJing, the thing I say is that I got to the point where, I was on tour. I went on tour with D12, Obi Trice. And then I was able to even get booked myself, over in Germany, Belgium, different cities in the U.S. So now I'm doing things like that. And
you're doing stadiums.
Well, I never did a stadium.
Okay.
Now I did a spot in somewhere in Germany. No, the Netherlands. Oh, that bad boy was huge. That was a big spot. And it was dead too. But when I got into doing stuff like that, that's when to me I started to see how cutthroat it was, how cutthroat people were. Yeah. And DJing wasn't as fun anymore. Gotcha. And I always say the higher you get up the chain, these people not your friend, like you think. And because I guess everyone's trying to stay, up there, And I really fell out of love with DJing. So my last straw was I went to Las Vegas and I stayed for 7 weeks. And I was in Vegas, I DJ'd out there, but it didn't go like I planned. And the same thing, I'm in Vegas. I know all these DJs, and everyone to me was just playing me scandalous, And I just said, you know what? Screw y'all, And I came back home. At that point, I called myself retired. And I went back to another passion, which was one to own a restaurant. So the original plan, of course, was, chicken and fish joint, all of that. But I ended up going to Chicago for some stuff and came across Garrett's Popcorn in Chicago. And I saw literally there was a line down the street. I don't know if you're familiar with Garrett's Popcorn.
Not at all.
It's a Midwest staple. Garrett's now has locations literally across the world. They got them in Dubai and all kind of places. But Garrett's is like a Chicago, mainstay. It's a thing that if you're in Chicago, you got to come home with some Garrett's, things like that. But literally there was a line down the street, and we stood in line. I didn't want it. Everybody else I was with wanted something. It took us 30 minutes to get inside. And by now, I'm counting dollars. You know, I paid $7 for a bag of popcorn. And I started counting the people, counting what if the average person is spending $7. So we back at the hotel room, and I can't get this off my mind. So I left the hotel room, went back. And they were just about to close. So I was able kind of to walk right in, and I was trying to talk to them. And, you know, of course, they about to close. They like, bro, what you want? I'm like, well, how much is this? What do you do this? This. You know, I'm asking all these questions. Man, I'm telling you, I couldn't get it off my mind. I just couldn't. So I'm saying to myself, we don't have this in Detroit. We don't have a place where people lined up to get no damn popcorn. And I came back to Detroit. I reached out to Garrett to see the franchise. He told me no. And I said, well, I'll build my own, you know. So same thing like with the mixtapes. So you wouldn't put me on the website, so I made my own site. So the original plan was, you know, a retail store with the line down the street. It's a lot harder, of course, than, you know, trying to do it. Garrett's been around since the 1940s. So I was able to open up, you know, my first location. But for me, I just started to get people that reached out to us for wholesale. You know, people wanted us. First, it was like, you know, a lot of parties and things of that, wedding receptions, and then there were actual stores like, hey, do you guys wholesale this and that? And it wasn't my plan at first. Yeah. You know, I wanted to copy what Garrett's had, but I mean, you asking for wholesale, so shoot, we'll give it to you. So I actually went back to school, took classes because I didn't know anything about how to do all this stuff and all your regulations and things of that. And, you know, we got into it. And so now we actually do both. So we, you know, I'm sitting here inside the retail store. So we have the retail aspect of it, but we also do wholesale. Wholesale is really the biggest part of our business. Wholesaling to other stores. We do fundraisers now, which is a huge part as well for us too. And definitely, like I say, we still a lot of wedding receptions. We you know, we got a good portion of that we do every summer, real strong. So we sell in different ways, you know, online sales as well too, things of that. So yeah, it started eating up, you know, all of my time. And truthfully, DJing, like I said, I had kind of fell out of love for it. Yeah. I call myself retired, but of course I did come back. So I'm definitely still DJing. I want to get back to the level of when I was traveling, things of that nature. I have something that may be set up with a cruise line, but I have turned into a, you know, 9-to-5 guy or a 12-to-12 guy as an entrepreneur, you know.
But let me stop you right there because I have conversations with people when it comes to entrepreneurship and the importance of transitioning. Because a lot of us, we get into what we get into, but end up doing something different, even if it's still within the same line. How important is it to be able to transition from making your money from partying or doing music to actually, I guess, getting into the restaurant business or you know, how can people feel the transitioning? Like, if people come, what's the importance of transitioning?
I'm gonna tell you, man, it's hard. Here's the thing for me. Sometimes when I see, you know, other DJs or even new DJs, when I just DJs, period. Like if it's a happening event, you know, an event that maybe I used to DJ, and now you call somebody else. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I have to say, man, you got a business to run. Man, you know, you got XYZ, you got this, and that. And sometimes the ego kicks in. You know who I am? You know, this. You're not calling me for this gig, you know, like that. It's hard sometimes to let the DJ go and go on and run your business. Because sometimes I'll be like, man, the hell with the popcorn. Man, I'm still a good DJ. This, and that. And then sometimes some people be like, bro, we want what you got. Or you better go over here and do this. So sometimes you have to find that balance. And it's hard because it is hard to let go of the DJing. And I haven't let it go again. But yeah, I don't DJ in the clubs every week like I used to. I'm not, there's over time, especially with technology, there's way more DJs on the scene than, 10, 20 years ago. There's 1,000 DJs. So I'm not in the top 5 anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe not even top 10. I like to say I'm in the top 20. And that's just that's not even based on me playing every week. That's just based on, my history.
Yeah.
I think I've solidified, myself. But yeah, I'm not the top guy anymore. And it hurts. Tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. But you gotta, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's the hard part is setting your ego aside, because you're gonna have some ego. Not to be arrogant, this and that, but when you built up what you built up and you get recognized for it, it is hard to kind of step aside, But I've stepped aside for something else,
Yeah. Speaking of stepping aside, you have a slash author title to DJBabe now.
Yeah, that's the new title.
Yeah. So, explain why you decided to not only write a book, also the title of your book and what it's about.
So the book, we got it right here. The book is called I Finally Wrote This Book. And it does have my real name, which is Ronier DJBabe Golightly. So I wrote a book, got my pretty face on the back. I wrote a book because if you follow me on Facebook, I get raw sometimes. And I would tell these stories. And trust me, my circle of friends, they know I tell a lot of wild stories, especially from the days in the music industry. And one of my guys used to always say, "Man, you should write a book, man. You should write a book." He said that over and over again. "Man, you should write a book, man." He'd be like, "Man, you crazy, man. Oh, you gotta write a book." So one thing about myself is, there's a guy from New York, used to live in Detroit. I don't know if I should say Jewish guy, but
I'm not going to get canceled. So
MC Search, from Third Base. Search was on the radio. We used to work at the same radio station, WJLV, and we were both working.
And for disclosure, I actually went to high school with MC Search back in the 80s.
Okay, so he lived in here in Detroit for a while. We also worked with Nouveau Liqueur at the time, about 2008 or so. And that's actually where we fell out. But anyway, but Search told me one time in a general conversation, you should reinvent yourself every 10 years. And hell, Search told me that probably year 2000 or something, again, just never forgot it. And the thing is, I started telling other people that, what are you known for? I would tell people, when you look at your tombstone, I said, I won't mind to just be like words. I want to be known. Again, I guess that's, going back, I just want to kind of be known. So it was like, what are you known for? Okay, well, I'm known for, no matter what, everyone's going to know, me as a DJ. They know me as a business, the popcorn. They know me for mixtapes, this and that. And I just wanted to keep adding on, which I even still, I'm looking to do some other stuff today. I'm actually looking to take classes, learn Spanish for no reason at all. Just because, So like I say, I had all these stories and I used to tell people, man, I did this. And some people actually would think I was exaggerating the line, but when I tell these stories, they are 1,000% true. So I would just come home from working in a store and I would just get on the internet and I was just started writing down my stories and writing them down. After about 3 months, I had a whole lot of stories, and I just started putting them in order. What happened. So I say this book is not an autobiography. I mean, it's not that. It is a collection of stories, and that's what I call it. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't stick to 100% of how my life went. It's just over a time frame. These are some stories I think you would enjoy, me talking about. So it just became an actual book. And hell, man, it's just something I wanted to do. I mean, I wanted to get into screenwriting. I had an idea in my head for a movie, years back, and I still want to actually complete it one day. And I just, like I say, as a writer, I just wanted, even, writing for me was always something. I had honors English, for years and years. I'm a little smart, so just something new to try, just a challenge, I knew I didn't know anything about being an author, promoting a book. I know zero about it. But I, use some of the tactics that I use, during the music game. And we just, we put the book out, and I still haven't did an audio version yet, which people are saying you gotta do that too. I haven't had time, but the book actually, I'm gonna tell you like this. I was a little bit concerned because some people on the popcorn side, my distributors or other stores or just customers come in the store, they don't know my original career.
Yeah. And
when you read the book, there's a recurring theme, which is Hennessy. Hennessy is named in the book like 50 times. And some of the things that I did after drinking Hennessy are in the book. So one person did tell me, one of my friends was like, I don't think you should have did that. And I said, you know what? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't do anything illegal, or anything like that. But I had fun, during those years of traveling and doing XYZ, I had fun. I've been to a million parties, what I'm saying, and travel, and all that stuff. So I was kind of concerned. So I reached out to a few food critics here in Detroit, all the magazines, the blogs, and some of them, everyone didn't get the book, but some of the people I did kind of scale back because I was like, wait a minute. But I scaled back as well too because I wanted to promote the way I want to promote. I want to collab the two. I want to do something that's a mixture of, the music as well as the business. So one of the things that I did, I actually put 3 things together. I went back to my mixtape days. I came up with flash drives. So this is a little tricky one how you get it to work. You got to twist it. But so I came up with a flash drive, DJBabe. On the flip side, Motor City Popcorn, whatever it is. So I'm selling flash drives with my mixtapes on here. It brands my DJing and my popcorn, but there's a digital copy of the book. So when you get the flash drive, you get the book as well. So and you get a ton of pictures of popcorn. So you'll actually you'll see the popcorn stuff. You'll read my book and you'll hear my mixes. So I decided to let me put these out. I gave away a good amount, free promotional. I actually shipped them out to people all over the country. So that way, like I said, you get everything. You get to learn about the popcorn business. You get to read my book, and you get to and hear my music, my mixes, which is definitely important. So I didn't show you any of my product. So one of my things here, this is the 8 Mile mix. The 8 Mile mix is white cheddar and caramel. This is one of our good sellers here. We got custom bags now and everything. I'm gonna spend some money. I see I make a fish tray, get your barcode, all that stuff, your nutrition facts. You got to get all that there. But so this is one of our products here. Then in the store we sell them like this as well too. This is our fruity mix. Fruity mix does well for us too. It's this has got your strawberry, lemon, blueberry, green apple, all that blah blah blah. you know. But so just showing some of our product too. But like these are the ones we have in a lot of stores. Like I said, we're selling the D Casino in Las Vegas, Circuit Casino in Vegas. We got some stores in upstate New York, West something. I don't forget what it's called. I don't know. We got stores in Atlanta. We got stores in Windsor, Canada. We kind of got some stores, you know, outside of, you know, Michigan, all over. Like I say, in Michigan, you know, we got a casino here. We got hotels here. We got Metro Airport. So we worked with the NFL. We did a big order with the NFL about 2 years ago. We sent product to every single sports team. We also sent product to ESPN, Fox Sports, a few colleges. You know, it was a massive order. We did Hennessy. You call it Hennessy Moe? Is that what you call it? Something like that?
Hennessy Moe?
You know, I thought it was Moet, but maybe that's the black version. Maybe you know the real people. You might know the real ones up there.
I just wanted to make it sound like a little bougie, but
Hennessy. So Hennessy reached out to us. Hennessy reached out to us and asked could we make infused popcorn. I had never made it. I told him, yeah, we can make it. I lied, you know, and they placed an order that was like $18,000. I'm like, well, I gotta learn how to make it.
You needed to.
So honestly, bro, I spent close to $400 of my own money buying up liquor, testing it out, you know, crashing and burning, till I came up.
Testing out the Hennessy or the formula for the popcorn.
Well, every now and then you gotta make sure that it tastes good, so you need a little bit for yourself. You know, but I spent over $400 in liquor before I came up with the right mixture. So we ended up making product for Hennessy. We worked with them a few times. We have it displayed in our store, like one of the bags we did, and people ask us all the time. But it is time consuming. When we did that order, it took us 3 days to make it. We had to close the store to the public, everything. It's just time. It's time consuming. So we work with Comcast. We worked with them several times, and we're doing an order now with Domino's Pizza. It's kind of a pretty big order. It's going to take us probably 10 days to do it. Thousands of bags is going for Domino's Pizza. We work with a lot of big brands, over the time too. So the thing is, one guy asked me, he said, "Man, you can really sell that much popcorn?" I mean, obviously you think, it is something that you think of a low end product, but it's a product that appeals to a wide demographic. Kids love it, adults love it. Doesn't matter whether you're health conscious. You can sell it over a wide demographic. So yes, it's right now it's a trend at wedding receptions. Any kind of gift bags, swag bags, people buy it for that. Schools love it. So we are a vendor with Detroit Public School. So we do get phone calls from them for big orders. It's just so many places to sell it, so many ways to sell it.
Yeah.
So you can make some money. I'm not rich. I'm far from rich, boy. but
as long as you stay in business, that's the important thing.
Yeah, we getting there. And the thing about it, having this business, the fact that I'm able to employ people, that's one bonus. To know that someone is paying their bills because of what you've created. That's something special, for me. And then with our retail storefront in the neighborhood, I did bounce around. I'm not gonna lie, I went out to the suburbs and all that stuff, but I came back to the city and really in the city. And we on 7 Mile Road. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows 8 Mile from the movie, but 7 Mile is where it get down. So we are in the city, and but to have people come by here, people the way they embrace the store here, you know what I'm saying? Like that's because people will say, "Man, we don't have anything like that." You don't have a popcorn store in the hood. We sell hand packed ice cream, milkshakes, cookies, you know, all that. Yeah, you don't get stuff like that in the hood. You know, you might go out to a trendy suburban area, or you might go, you know, downtown or something. But to be in the hood and have it, and then like I say, for us, you know, you know, on the weekends, sometimes I bring my turntables out in the lobby. I have guest DJs coming by. You know, I set them up, and I might tell the guy, hey, man, can you come do 2 hours? This guy do 2 hours. So we in here jamming as well. You know, I tried the rappers, man. I had to get rid of them, but they don't work.
I mean, you were recently in New York, and you didn't even like, you know, try to visit the brother, but that's okay.
I know, man. It was last minute.
No, I know. Because I know you went to the Black Entrepreneurs Day.
Yeah. Yeah. So with I'm involved with a lot of different programs. Like I'm still taking classes. I just finished a 10-week course called B3 Elevation, which is building Black brands. And I'm part of a program called Buy Detroit, Buy BUI, whereas they look to put Detroit brands in front of, you know, buyers and stuff. So with the Buy Detroit program, they picked 8 of us to go to New York. And I was one of the 8. And we went to Damon John's Black Entrepreneur Day at the Apollo. So I was excited about that. You know, I mean, for us,
world famous Apollo.
The world famous, right? Because in New York, y'all probably like, I drive past it every day.
Like 125th, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but for me, it's like when people come to Detroit and they go to the Motown Museum.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm like, oh, dog, that's down the street. You know, but which I only been once in my life. But you know, but so that was like a, you know, a big thing. And then, you know, it was dope. You know, they had Tracy Ellis Ross. She talked about her brand. Serena Williams, who I didn't know was that damn tall, man. She like 6'9" or some boy. You know, big long chocolate legs. Man. Your man Spike Lee, man. I don't know what was up with him. You asked Spike a question about this, and Spike started talking about when he was 2 years old, and we like, Spike, what the hell are you talking about, man?
Spike is like Quincy Jones when it comes to that, because Quincy Jones can go off on a tangent as well. So.
Man,
legends.
I don't know what Spike interview was about, man, because he did not answer a question.
Yeah.
But the highlight for me was Killer Mike. Killer Mike, man. I mean, he spoke about entrepreneurship, but he talked about Black entrepreneurship. And you know what I'm saying, for me, man, I'm not gonna lie, man, he was putting some fire in me. And you know, I'm like, man, I gotta meet homie. You know what I'm saying? I gotta sit down and collab, or, you know, some way. But Mike is talking the stuff that I want to hear. Yeah,
I definitely actually had an opportunity. I did actually interview him. Never got a chance to post interview, but you know, he's definitely intelligent.
Yeah. So for me, it was I mean, man, it was just something to be in Harlem. So I guess some people say that I've been all through Harlem, because when I flew in LaGuardia, I took the M20, M60.
I don't take buses, so but
okay, so I took a bus. I think it was M60.
Probably, yeah.
And it goes from the airport,
yes,
and it takes you into Harlem. But I'm using MapQuest. Well, whatever, Google or something, whatever. It told me to get off on Lenox and 125th.
125th, yeah.
And I get off, but then it tells me to get on a train. And I go, you know, up to the counter, and I'm asking the lady, you know, this the right one? And she said, no, that's not the right one to get on. She told me to get on a different train. So I'm like, well, my phone is saying this. She's telling me this. Before I get on, I'm ask somebody else. So I asked another person, a guy. He said, no, man, you don't want either one of them. You want to get on this one.
Yeah.
So I got 3 different trains. I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to walk. Now, so I walked from Lenox and 125th to Amsterdam and 156.
You walked?
I walked.
Hell.
Yeah. I didn't know it was going to be like that, bro. Hey.
That's a journey.
So my dude said, bro, you've seen all of Harlem. Wow. So yeah, man, I walked. with a damn suitcase. So I mean, yeah, man. But even though I walk sweating like a bastard,
I can
I got to
imagine.
walk through. For me to walk through the Harlem neighborhoods. I mean, like I said, I guess obviously, for, growing up in New York, obviously grew up there. But for like me, you know what I'm saying, to see the brownstones and all that stuff, man, I'm soaking that. I'm like, man, this is dope. This is like, yo, this how they do it here.
History.
They don't pick up the trash. That's one thing, but
Well, you in Harlem, so
like there was trash everywhere. But you know what?
Gotta take it to the bag.
But man, it was just dope for me. It was dope to walk through the neighborhoods like that. And then when my man was telling me, he said, "Yo, you know this the area where Rich Porterman used to get out and this." I'm like, show me where, man. I need to walk past there too. I just walk past and be like, yo, this where I used to be at. Cause what I did, like the first night I was there, and I had an Airbnb in Harlem, and I got up and just left. I walked down Amsterdam, just walked and walked and walked. I know, man. I'm just like, and it's like on the real. I left like 10 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? And I just start walking through Harlem, man. I'm just soaking it up. At night. I left at 10 o'clock at night. And I'm just walking through Harlem and stuff, And it was crazy, like, to see that many people outside, first off. Like, New York, of course, a lot of people live there. I was just like, damn, man, like, what y'all doing outside this time of night? Like,
Harlem never sleeps.
Man. I mean,
never.
Again, it gave me like energy. I go into, I guess what y'all call the bodegas or whatever, and they all cook food up in there and stuff. I'm tripping off that. And so yeah.
And you're lucky because like it's definitely a lot calmer than it used to be like 20, 30 years ago, because I lived in Harlem for 8 years. And I'm from the Bronx. And Harlem is definitely different in every aspect. And visiting Harlem definitely is a thing that I think everyone should do, especially Black people. Brooklyn too, but Harlem is definitely culture wise. I mean, just it's different.
So if you wasn't being biased, which borough is the place to be?
It depends on for what, because New York is so rich. I mean, like I said, for a Black American, you definitely have to experience Harlem, but you also must experience Brooklyn as well, and the Bronx. So it's just like so many different aspects and for different reasons.
So for me, when I'm in New York, I'm going back to a kid. Hip hop is on my mind. Anything that's hip hop related. I want to know where they did it at. I want to know where they live at or used to live, like things of that.
I grew up in the Bronx, right near Bronx River, where it basically all started. So I would definitely suggest, but growing up at that time was such a different experience that even going to the Bronx now, it's not going to be the same, but at least you can be in the area. But to actually live it is definitely something that, and I tell people this all the time. If you've ever watched the Netflix, the Get Back, whatever.
Oh, the Get Down.
Get Down.
Yes.
That might be the closest that you can be without actually being there, because that series captured the essence of how the Bronx was back then. And like I said, growing up in the Bronx is a different experience because you could grow up in New York at the same time, but not experience the same thing because every borough has a different feel to it. So when it comes to hip hop, like the Bronx at that time, I'm glad I grew up in the Bronx. I'm glad I experienced, like I said, growing up near Bronx River, actually being around when Africa Bambaataa would come over to where we lived because we were much younger.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, like I said, the whole experience was such, like, we didn't know what we were experiencing until later. I went to school with Slick Rick. So
Right.
even being in proximity to such greatness without realizing the greatness, or realizing it years later. It's like people are always like, people who know me have always asked, like, when it comes to hip hop, growing up in the Bronx and going to school with a Slick Rick and MC Search and, you know, hanging out with Dougie Fresh, and it's like I was blessed to like actually be around these people and people having to write stories about them, but me actually living it with them is such an experience. Like, people are waiting for my book. People are like, you need to write a book, and it's like I've got several books in me because of like who, like I said, even going to music and art, and like I said, my connections with Dougie Fresh was his girlfriend at the time, and my girlfriend at the time were sisters. So
Oh
I
yeah.
actually hung out with Doug E. Fresh, you know, when I went to school with Slick Rick.
Was this before or after B Street?
After B Street.
Okay, so he already had his appearance.
Yeah, I didn't get to experience that Dougie Fresh because he was already legendary at that time.
Oh,
But I
okay.
picked him up like during the show because, like I said, I went to school with Slick Rick. I'm like seeing Slick Rick and I'm banging on the tables in high school, and then actually meeting Teddy Riley at Rooftop Studios. So it's
Yes.
like all of these things and me not realizing it at the time, but experience it. But then, like when I'm hearing the stories and seeing the different times, and then Aaron Hall used to come up to Music and Art, and he didn't go to Music and Art, but he was
Mm-hmm.
up there, and then him being involved with Teddy Riley and Guy. So it's like when people hear some of the things that I've been around, they're
Yeah.
looking at me like, wow, how could you be around all of that greatness? And I'm like, well, at the time, you're not realizing that you're around and
Yeah.
around it.
I, sometimes I say like some of my experiences. I say I'm like the Black Forrest Gump, because like Forrest in the movie, he was like always there, meeting different presidents and
And I never saw Forrest Gump either. I gotta watch it. I keep telling people I gotta watch it.
You never seen it?
I've never seen it.
Oh God!
So people make the references to Forrest Gump. I'm like, I never saw the movie.
Oh, well, first of all, it's classic.
And I know about him being immersed in so many different time periods and this and that.
Yes.
So it's
Forrest, like historical events, he's always there.
Yeah.
So that's what I say because, I find myself around like close or near situations that sometimes were talked about. That's what I'm saying. When I'm telling my stories, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I was there. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember. Yeah, I was there." That when we were, I think it was Mixed Show Power Summit when the Zeno hosted a source party, and Eminem was supposed to come. Emma D12 flew in, and they said they was tired because I was waiting on them. Yeah. And and I'm telling Benzino and all of them, like, oh yeah, they'll be here in a minute. It's this. And then I get word, no, we ain't coming. And that led to Benzino feeling dissed and the whole beef. Yeah. So when people kept talking about the beef, I'm like, hey man, I was there. I was talking to Benzino. I was talking to D12. I was talking to everybody. I was right there. Just all kinds of situations, things that happened. I was there, or I was near, or had a connection. So sometimes I look back like, yeah, but I mean, like I say,
I'm gonna tell you what's funny, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm actually talking to Kenny Parker, Karis One's brother, because he has the book out, and I was actually watching him on Lord Jamal's podcast talking about the BDP situation with PM Dawn. And I was actually there. I keep telling people, like, if I wasn't there, I would not have believed it. And I know that when I do talk to Kenny, that's going to be one of the topics we talk about. And it's so funny when I hear certain situations, like you said, it's like, I was actually there. I was there when Ice Cube was at the New Music Seminar.
No.
When they were being chased.
Yeah.
You know, mob and all of this. And it's like, there's so many. That's why people are like, your story is going to be, your book is going to be. And it's like there were so many situations where I was actually there. I was there when they were filming Juice with Omar Epps, because we went to high school together. The scene. So it's like, even when I get to talk about some of those hip hop moments because I was actually there.
Man. I say just
video. Like, it's so many different things where it's like, wow. And
yeah, that's what I just would just jot down a story at a time on my laptop. And like I said, after 4 months, I had a whole lot. You know, so I didn't sit down and just be like, I'm about to write a book, yada yada. No, let me put these thoughts down, you know, and it just happened. But yeah, I mean, I just think, man, like some of us, I know, you know, I got into the music game late 90s, you know, 2000s for me was kind of like my apex, even though I want to create something new, because that's 20 years ago. But that's when I was, you know, hitting books, different cities and yada yada. And I just think, man, like some of us from that era, man, we've got some stories, man. I tell all like these guys, these younger DJs, I say, man, you missed out. Like you missed out on, you know, saying an experience.
Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to, like, you know, start up the podcast again, because with the contacts that I have and the people that I actually know and the stories that I'll be able to tell with the people, it's going to be so crazy, because people have been like getting at me, oh, you need to. I'm like, I don't want to. But then when I say, you know what, I need to. And like I said, talking to you, and like I said, I'm going to talk to Kenny. And I know when I talk to Puff, because we're going to talk. I don't know how it's going to get. I don't know how it's going to happen, but we're going to talk, because me and him were interns at the same time, and there were many stories and situations that we can talk about. Like I said, the Teddy Riley situations, the Dougie Fresh, the MC Search, the Slick Ricks, the Tracy Lees. It's like there's so many things. Like even my source stories and things of that nature. I'm like, I can talk and have a show every day for the next 10 years and still have more stories to tell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And people want to hear that stuff, man.
And that's why people are like, yeah, you got to do it. And I'm like,
yeah, I'm telling you, man, people
don't care about what I should do.
They want to hear these crazy stories. When I would sit around and tell my stories to guys in Detroit who didn't have the chance to travel like I didn't have a chance to meet, you know, artists and things like that. When I'm telling these stories, I'm like, bro, man, I was hanging out with Lil Jon one night, and they be like, you was with Lil Jon? I'm like, yeah, let me tell you what we did. They be like, man, y'all did all that? I'd be like, yeah, don't tell nobody.
I'm gonna tell you what's so funny. Chi Ali literally reached out to me today. Now I've known Chi like literally since he was like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So and I have a great relationship with Chi. So I was like, yo, I gotta get you. He's like, yo, let's do it. So it's like I'm getting excited just knowing with the people that I haven't even talked to yet, based on the people I've already talked to. And it's like, it's going to be such a ride that I'm going to allow people into my world now based on what other people are doing. You know, my son, you know, like I said, I don't mean to name drop, but at the same time, people are like, yeah, but you're not name dropping because you actually know these people and you've
yeah. And the thing is, I think a lot of people, they want to tell these stories, not the old regular, tell me about your new record and, you know, all that crap. Hey, man, how many girls you banged when you was 15 years old? You know, tell us about that. You know, man, I was 15. I did this. You know, like, no, man, we want to hear some stories, man. I was So I'd say, for a while I used to go back and forth on what's the direct message, whatever, on Instagram with Jalil from Houdini, and I kept telling Ja, I said, bro, of course with Ecstasy passing, he's not doing the shows and stuff. I said, bro, man, you got to do a show and just talk about the early days of hip hop, your experiences, the good and the bad, yada yada. And I said, my man, people will listen. I will listen.
Yeah.
I will listen for the short time that I was on Clubhouse, because I did delete the app. DJ Scratch and I think it was a Grand Mixer DST.
Yeah.
Man, they was telling these hip hop stories, man. And man, I was on Clubhouse one time to 6 a.m. knowing I had to get up in the morning, but they just kept telling stories, man. Kept telling stories, and I wanted to soak all that stuff up.
And I definitely know that I've been blessed and I've been happy to be around a lot of those stories and to be able to actually be friends. And the thing is, I always say to people, it's like, if I have conversations with these people, it's going to be much different than any conversation interview that any journalist or anybody's ever going to have, because I know these guys.
Right.
Me and D Nice go back to the MC Light video. MC Light, it's like all these people that I actually know and can call up today and have conversations with. We're going to have the type of conversations that people are going to envy, because they're going to be actual stories and reminiscing things that um I'll use D Nice as an example. I can have conversations with D Nice that no journalist can ever have, because we're actual friends. We actually have had deep conversations. Now, the conversation we're going to have that's going to be public are not going to be the same conversation we've had.
Right.
Because we might let things slip, this, that, and the other, and I would never ever do that or reveal certain things. But knowing that we have a connection that I can get that deep, or they can get that deep, is definitely advantageous for me as a journalist, as a writer, because these people are my actual friends.
Right.
So it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
and that's another reason why I want to, and like I said, and I know people don't know that you and I had a discussion several months ago, but because things that happened, my brother's passing, just a lot of things that happened between these months where I wasn't able to, but I'm back in that mindset where I'm ready, and I know that it's going to be, and like I said, I appreciate you allowing me to speak to you, but I know that 6 months from now, like, it's going to be so many different stories where I might have my own television series, because it's going to be
Well,
so.
I'm gonna tell you this, man.
So
You know, uh, so like, social media, we all roast you. Yeah.
I get that all the time, so I'm kind of used to it. I expect it anyway. So
Definitely, social media, what Big said is gonna brighten your day up. So that's what I'm saying is, though, I definitely believe that, you launch your platform. There's so many people, man, they're going to check you out. I mean, you have, Industry Cosign. When you write story, like a lot of times, I mean, I'll tell you, man, give you flowers. You would interview certain people who were like executives or people who had started a business. You know what I'm saying? I would read it. I may not comment, things of that, but I would read it, what I'm saying? Because I'm still a student and I still need to know, who's doing what. I'm still trying to hustle. I'm still trying to connect. I'm still trying to, create something, do something else. So, your platform for me was a resource.
well, that's the reason why I started the definition of an entrepreneur, because I want people to see some of the things that people have been through in order to be successful in what they do, or the pitfalls that they had to go through and the different things. So that way, if they're pursuing their dream and if it doesn't work out the way they anticipate, that it can still happen. And that's the reason why I'm reaching out to certain people, because people need to see that there are people that they can emulate. even in failure, to be a success. And I know for a fact that a lot of people that I know that are successful have had so many bumps in the road, but it didn't stop them. So I want that to be the blueprint for anybody that's going to, come across the videos or the articles on my site, or even the stuff that I do for Black Enterprise, so that way they can see that it didn't work in the way that I thought it would, but it still can work out.
Oh yeah. I think like I say, our again, I know the industry obviously been popping for years and years, but for me, that 90-ish, 2000-ish, to me, it's like we just like a dope breed. It's some dope ass people, man, that came out of that era. You know, and because that's when black folks started making money. We started creating our own brands, and people became millionaires and things and such.
I'm gonna tell you what's funny, because the Billboard just released their Power Players.
Yeah.
I know like half the people. Mark Pitts, we went to school together. Renee, we did parties together. Jeff Robinson, we grew up together. I could go down that list. Lisa Brunson, like I can name half the people and have a direct connection. And are going to be like, wow, and it's like, I love seeing that they're still doing their thing, and we all started at the same time, and people are still elevating and still have many years to go.
Yeah, we ain't finished. I mean, shoot, for me, Freddie Mind gave me a good analogy. It's like a football game, man. It's halftime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? First two quarters, first quarter, you was in your 20s, so you was losing the game. You was fumbling the ball. You was doing all kinds of dumb stuff. And, second quarter, you might have, had some success. You might have scored some points. We at halftime. So we in the locker room. We're writing on the board. We're writing down what worked, what didn't work the first two. And then we're going to write down what's going to make us win this game for the two coming up. So we're going back out in the field. So that's why I feel like, I turned 50 this year. And, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I do think like, damn, 50, Jesus. Like
I'll be 55 in 4 months. So
man,
I get it.
But I said at the same time, I know I hustle just as hard as a 20-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't got no problem doing 12 hours, 16 hours. I ain't got no problem if you say like for me, like this event that I may have with a cruise ship, my man's throwing a party. He's like, I need you here. I'm like, Star, all you gotta do is tell me. Yeah. I'm about to find a way to hop on this plane, get on this cruise ship, and I'm about to go rock this party. That's just the hustler in me. I'm going. You just have to say what day to be there. That's all you gotta say. I'm there.
I'll tell people I'm trying to be Quincy Jones. I'm trying to be 84, still making money and still mattering. So it's like, I still got 30 more years to go in this game.
I mean, we got time, man. I don't think it's over. I mean, yes, there's a lot of new people. Technology has made some people. So many people doing podcasts. Everyone's doing that left and right, and like I say, DJing or producers now making beats in their living room. Things of that. But again, I think that we come from a dope era, and not to knock any of the newer people. Definitely give some props to some people that's definitely creative. But I just wonder if they got the hustle, like like we hustle. When I was on street team and you had to put up poster boards, we literally would go out purposely 2-3 in the morning and put poster boards up, before the police come.
I tell a lot of the younger people that I do talk to that I appreciate their hustle, but the way we hustled, and like we were pre whatever they're doing now, so that way it's easier for them to do what they do.
Yeah.
You can literally make a record in your house, have it on the radio, literally within hours. We came up, we had to go into the studio, we had to do certain things, and even if we completed a song tonight, you might not be on the radio for at least 3-4 months because of whatever process and things that they have to take in order to get it done. And I appreciate all the work that I just tell people, like, things are so easy nowadays where it's like you don't have to leave your house in order to get things done. I'm not taking away from them. I'm definitely not, because technology is such that where you and I can have a conversation now and it could be on the internet right now.
Yeah.
Before, working at magazines, you had to plan out, do the interview, transcribe, do this, that, and then 3 months later, it's in print.
Yeah.
Finally, so it's like, it is what it is. Like I said, I appreciate all that we've done, because, like, even things that are easier for us now, we had to go through. Like, when I first started doing stuff online, I had to, like, write the codes in order to get one wrong thing. The paragraph could be wrong, or the formatting is wrong. Then I had to go back and do it over, because it took me an hour to do that. Nowadays, cut, paste, bang. Okay, now I write something. It's online within 4 minutes. Back then, you had to work on it for an hour, look it over, then make sure that everything was in place, so that way you can. And then when you publish it, then you have to look at it over again. Nowadays, it's like blah, 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 bang. Okay, it's out there. So
And shoot, nowadays some stuff, the slang or the ebonics or whatever is, if a word is wrong or missing, I went to school, so one thing I didn't know, when I graduated high school, I went to broadcasting school. There was a famous school here called Specs Howard School of Broadcast. And so when you went there, you either went for radio or TV. And so even though they trained you first 3 quarters of both, fourth quarter, you had to pick which one. I wanted to be on radio. So and I just remember, and one of the stipulations to graduate is that you had to enunciate W. And it's amazing how many people in the class could not get W. I think it was 2 U's. I mean, again, 30 years later, it's what I remember. They telling us 2 U's, W. So when I got on, and then at the time too, getting on radio, we had a broadcast license that we were certified, and then I remember there was a guy here, was on the radio in Detroit that I'm cool with, but he came in with the most ghetto slang, man, what's up, I'd be like, man, I went to school for this stuff, and dude was actually pretty popular on the radio, but he came in was just straight up, you couldn't understand half the words he said, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So I mean, yeah, a lot of that stuff is out the window nowadays.
Yeah, especially bloggers, but it is what it is. But we're still here. We're still doing what we do, and there's more in front of us. And like I said, I'm definitely here for it. And going into the new year, I know that my energy has been refocused. I feel like I did 30 years ago, when, like, I just had this attitude like nothing can stop me, and nothing can stop me. Nothing has stopped me, and just pushing forward. So
yeah,
I say all that to say I appreciate, like I said, getting the opportunity to speak to you. And good luck with everything that you're doing. Actually, give us the title of your book again.
Oh yeah. So the book is called "I Finally Wrote This Book," because I finally did write the book. The book is on Amazon. You know what? I just noticed it's not on my website.
You need to change that, so that way when this is posted, they will see it. They'll be able to.
It will be on my website tonight. Yeah, so it is on Amazon. I finally wrote this book. And then, like I said, MotorCityPopcorn.com, Facebook, Instagram as well, Motor City Popcorn. And let me see what else. So I haven't really started my SoundCloud and Mixcloud and stuff again, but
for people in the Detroit area, let them know where you're located, so if they want some popcorn, they can come see you.
So we are at 7104 West 7 Mile Road. We are 2 blocks west of Livernois, the Avenue of Fashion. The Avenue of Fashion, for those outside of Detroit, is a 2-mile stretch of Black business. It is like our Black Wall Street. You have several Black-owned businesses that annually gross over $1 million a year, but it's like our Black business mecca. We're 2 blocks off of there, but this area as well, like all my neighbors, everyone's Black around here. So 7104 West 7 Mile Road, 2 blocks west of Illinois, Avenue of Fashion. Like I said, motorcitypopcorn.com is our website. But also you can find our products. Again, if you're in the Detroit area, we are in Jermac, Motor City Casino. We are in Detroit Shop, Somerset Mall. We're in Westland Mall. We're Fresh Town Market. We're in 2 Meyer locations, which is well-known grocery stores. So we're getting out there. I mean, we got other places, but I don't remember. I got to look at the paper to really know. I mean, you know, say, hey, I got an order, man. I just feel it, ship it, you know.
Is there anything coming up in the very near future that you want the people to know about?
So for us, we are getting our website. We're getting a portion of it redeveloped so that we can do paperless fundraising. So fundraising for 2023 is like one of the biggest things that we're going to focus on. There's a popcorn brand that's kind of known nationally. Really are the top dogs for fundraising. Popcorn used for fundraising is definitely growing year by year. It's becoming, you know, a well-known item to use. So there's a company who has maximized it, and they're doing pretty good. Can't knock them. So with fundraising, we're switching from the old ways of where you take an order form and, you know, pass it around and fill it out and collect money. Everything now is just online. So you come to our website, you sign up for a fundraiser campaign, and you get a unique code. And all you do with that code is just give it to your peoples. And when they hit the code, it takes them to a store. They purchase the products. The product is shipped to them. And all you do as the person who started is sit back and watch all your friends who went online and bought. So you don't actually have to deal with any money. You don't have to chase people down. You don't even have to get the product and give it to them. You really just send out a code. So for us, once I get the website fully integrated with that, that's what we're going to put a massive push on that. That's one thing that I really want to get this business going into. So outside of that, Motor City Popcorn, you know, we try and do some collaborations with brands. Like I say, we're doing it an order now with Domino's Pizza. I'm trying to get Domino's to actually carry it in their stores. We did have a deal on the table. I don't know if you're familiar with Fago Pop.
Nah. Oh yes.
Fago?
Yes.
Okay, so Fago is headquartered here in Detroit. Now they expanded, to other cities and states rather. But we were going to come out with a Fago flavored popcorn. A lot of mumbo jumbo behind the scenes on that. So I think we're going to revisit that and come out with that. I got one of us lined up, man. I'm gonna talk about it. Kind of ticking me off, but we were going to come out. If you look at the colors here of our spot, we got the blue, we got the yellow, we got the white. If you're familiar, that is U of M, University of Michigan colors. So we were supposed to come out with a Fab 5 popcorn brand. 5 flavors of popcorn in one bag. I'm gonna put it out there, even though it wasn't public, but because he know who he is, he better get that deal done so we can get this rolling. But it's supposed to be in stores now. The Fab 5 popcorn brand. I got to get that one rolling too. So, but that's what I want to do, some collaborations. I want to tie in with, existing brands. I want to kind of tie in with some people. So, of course, about Rap Snacks, potato chip brand. You familiar with that?
Master P.
Yeah. So, here in Detroit, there's some people who came out with a potato chip brand, and they're putting Detroit rappers on the potato chips. So Detroit right now got a little buzz going on in the industry with current rappers. So a few months ago, Ice Vezo I'm not familiar with him, but he came out with a line of chips. There's a guy named Peasy. Peasy actually now has the #1 song on Spotify, I believe. It's called 2 Million Up. But Peasy's his brand comes out next week. So I don't necessarily want to, kind of bite that or whatever, but I did want to kind of do a collaboration with some well-known people with our products, things like that. So, and we can come out with a special brand for that person, so too. So, hey man, all the old school hip hop, man. We can get some light chips, with light salt on them, you know what I'm saying? Healthy brand of light popcorn, something like that, We can get some KRS-One, you know what I'm saying? One gram of sugar or something. We can come out with something like that, And as far as on the DJ tip, I'm on the real, I'm looking to rebrand myself as a DJ. Truthfully, I'm not really trying to be the king of the clubs, anything like that in nature. I do have a dream to get back on Sirius satellite. Even if it's just, I want to play on Sway's show. That's one thing I've been itching on. I definitely want to do a guest spot with Sway. And one of my mixtape brothers back in the day, Superstar J, he won't hit me back, but I want to do a guest spot on his show. I mean, if I guest spot, I'm cool with that, just to get on and play.
Yeah.
So kind of things like that, man. And like I say, if I can get back into the arena to where I used to, get flown in different cities and just play for, different crowds and things like that, I love to do too. So that's really what I'm working on. I'm trying to learn Spanish. So especially next time in New York, I see one of them fine Puerto Ricans, boy. Woo! Because I seen some up there, boy. I want to say some stuff to her, boy. Yeah. So that's what I want to get into.
Well, good luck with everything. Once again, I appreciate your time. And,
definitely. Next
time you're in New York, hit me up.
Yeah, man. Trust me. Like I said, I want to get back to traveling. That New York trip, man. It was enlightening.
I'm sure it was, especially after walking like 90 blocks.
Yep, I won't do that again, though. I know how to catch the bus in Harlem. I know how to do that now.
Yeah. So once again, DJBabe, Motor City Popcorn. Check it out. The website, www.motorcitypopcorn.com. If you're in Detroit, stop by and pick up the book as well.
That's right. You'll laugh. I'll say that.
Once again, this is Big Said, the Industry Cosign, the definition of an entrepreneur, featuring DJBabe. And tune in. And thanks once again for tuning in. And till next time, peace.
All right.